Hey folks, it's Chris Dyer here at Reborn Martial Arts in Springfield, Virginia. And today we are continuing on our series of looking at different techniques through the lens of the concept of block, lock, blow, and throw. Today we're going to be looking at cloud hands. Okay, so let's look at cloud hands, how it's done in form, and then we'll break it apart into individual techniques. So cloud hands is this idea of waving your hands like cloud, as the name implies. You do a hip rotation. You're typically doing it walking while doing the movement, and these are waving your hands like cloud. So one hand is coming down, one hand is coming up, and it's this outward circular sort of movement. If you, what is this, sand the floor or wax on, wax off, I don't remember which one. If you know the answer, put the comment in below if you're a Karate Kid fan and you know the answer out there, whichever one of these things it is. But we're doing these outward circles, counter circles with the hands. So not going the same direction, they're going opposite directions with your hands. One high, low, high, low, high, low, and you're walking as you're doing this. And let's look at some of the application in just a second. Okay, so let's begin with our blocking. So people in the karate world will know these soto uki, the outward blocks like so. And this is the most obvious choice for doing this technique. He throws a strike. I'm going to deflect it out to the outside. And then I have my other hand in reserve waiting. If they throw another strike, it's ready to block. So you're blocking outward, blocking outward, blocking outward. It's very, very obvious what you're doing. An interesting look at this, though. If I go ahead and do that, right, punch again, I'm stuck here. We talk about this all the time. This is a terrible place for me to be, especially, you know, if you ever get attacked, a person bigger and stronger than you, you do not want to be standing directly in front of them. They have all the advantage. You're in a really bad spot, and I just opened myself up. I just opened my guard. So one thing that you can actually use this counter one hand going one direction, one hand going the other direction. If I am standing here, I'm walking down the street and a person throws an attack and I happen to block this direction, this other hand in reserve can do something really, really cool. Assuming they're about to throw another strike, that hand in reserve can help me escape, right? So as this block happens, I can now cut this other angle and I start looking for my opening. I'm in a much, much better position. So that's kind of the use of one side, the other side. The other obvious choice is one, he throws the other punch, I'm here, and then I'm getting ready to, you know, book it somewhere else, or I have that other block in reserve. So that's why we work the hands in opposition, one hand high, one hand low, getting one ready as one's pulling back. All right, so that's the idea of blocking. The next part is locking. Now this is really interesting. We'll have to turn sideways so we see this, but we'll look this direction first. Right punch comes in. Here's the hand moving in this counterclockwise direction. The other hand is down low and is going to start moving in a clockwise direction, but I'm going to change the angle of my body and the angle slightly for this. So instead of going outward, outward, I'm going to go outward, upward, and towards myself. We end up with something that looks like this. Let's turn sideways so you can have a better view. We'll go super slow with this outward block. I realize that I want to lock this arm up, so I'm going to simultaneously move my body away from this attacking arm. Here's that other hand in reserve working the opposite direction, and the force, one hand going out this direction, one hand pulling this direction, manipulates his structure, bends the arm, and that's how we end up with this arm block. So we're going to go super slow with this, 1, 2. And then I lock into position through here. Now, if he tried throwing that other punch, he doesn't want to. He said he doesn't want to. All right, let's do it one more time. 1, 2. Now, this one is an obvious thing that I have to really worry about that left hand. So we're going to go super slow again. But if I'm here on the inside and I start doing this technique and that left punch is coming, I'm going to end up, this is going to be way faster getting hit into the jaw than me pulling off the technique. So the technique needs to be done lickety-split as fast as possible. 1, 2, and I'm there. If I delay, if I mess up, immediately abort and then move on to do something else. And this goes back to kind of linking the techniques together. As I start this, I mess up, I slip it entirely, I can block out here, and then again, run away. I can escape out. So this is the locking aspect of it. Blocking, locking. The next part is blow. So this part's kind of obvious. If the person is throwing a strike or whatever it happens to be, there's my block. My outward motion through here is just the shuto right towards the jaw to the neck, and you have multiple strikes. You can do either side. So we looked at earlier in the form, we do this as a walking sort of thing. I block this direction. I can walk into this and generate even more power for that strike. So you have striking, 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 outward shuto sort of movement. And the last one is throw. And again, working the hands in opposition. As this one goes out, this one's coming up. As this one's going down, this one's coming up. As this one's going out, this one's kind of coming in. So they're both working in opposition. So we're going to use that to our advantage. Again, I'm going to start with the block because I'm not just going to attack at Mike and throw him to the floor. But we'll get there. You guys all want to see Mike get thrown, so that's where we're going to start. So block happens. This hand is going to continue its path going down as this hand starts coming up. And we're here. So I start breaking his structure. We've talked about this in our other episodes on splitting and whatnot. So I'm using one hand to press down while the other hand is pressing out, and I'm splitting his structure, and this can drive to this throwing technique. 1, 2, down this direction. All right, so that is waving hands like clouds, using it as blocking, locking, blowing, and throwing techniques. I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you got any questions, comments, put them down below. Thanks.